Hello everyone, and welcome to your very important math video all about geometry. Let's get started. So, what are we actually going to be learning today? Today, we are going to continue to explore important geometry vocabulary, focusing on standards 3.11 and 3.13. Okay, friends, let's rock and roll. Before we even get into it though, you are going to need a few things. Please make sure that you take out your pencil and the attachment that came with this video. You're going to be taking notes and drawing pictures of what each of these important geometry vocabulary words mean. So make sure you have your foldable ready, and then we can get started. Let's begin with a point. A point is a single location in space. It is represented using a dot and a capital letter. Here, for example, we see point A. Notice that it's a dot represented by the capital letter A. That's why we call it point A. Next up, we have a line segment. A line segment is a row of points that is straight. It starts at one point and ends at another point. Here is an example of line segment at AB. Notice that they stop at these specific points. It starts at A and stops at B. We can have many points along the way, just like this, along the way like this, if we wanted to. But the important thing is that this is line segment AB, and we know it starts and stops at A and B. Now that's different from our next word. Array. A ray is a line that starts at one point and continues on forever in the opposite direction. Take a look here at ray AB. Notice that it starts at point A, but then look here. There's an arrow on this side. That's because it continues forever in this direction at point B. It does not stop. At point A it starts, but it continues going from point B on. Kind of similar to a line. Let's talk about what a line is. A line is a row of points that continue forever in both directions. This is line AB. You notice we have points A and B on it, but look, there are arrows on the other end. That's because just like that ray continued in one direction, a line continues forever in both directions. And again, we can have multiple points that show up along this line, but this line AB means that it continues forever in both directions. So let's check in. Go ahead and make sure you take this out because we are going to review lines, line segments, rays, and points right now. After that, we will get into a right angle. But make sure you take out your foldable attached with this video. Make sure that you have the definition for each term written down, and you have a picture for each. If you don't have that yet, go ahead and work on it now as we go over this quick check right now. Let's compare. A line continues in both directions. We know that because we see the arrows at both ends here. A line segment stops. Starts at A and stops at B. It does not go on forever in both directions. An array starts at one point, but then continues forever in the other direction. So a line segment, and array are all different. Go ahead and draw those pictures in your notebooks now. Once you draw those pictures, let's write down the definitions. Lines continue in both directions forever. Line segments stop at endpoints. An array stops at one point and continues forever in the other direction. Now let's talk about angles. An angle is when two lines, rays, or line segments meet at one point. Here we have angle A. You can also name an angle using all the points. So this angle could be angle BAC or angle CAB. Notice that in both of those names, the A is in the middle because that is the actual point of where the angle is. The vertex is the point where two rays meet. This vertex is always when the middle letter always the middle letter when naming the angle. So right here, we actually have the angle. Let's talk about the different kinds of angles. Let's start with a right angle. A right angle makes a 90-degree angle or a perfect corner. Think about it like a square. We see here that it creates a perfect 90-degree angle, or a square if we were to square it off. Next is acute angle. An acute angle is any angle that's less than 90 degrees. So, if we were to go back and we know that the 90-degree angle looks like this, an acute angle is anything less than that. Let's take a look. Notice that it is less than or smaller than that 90-degree angle. We know a 90-degree angle would continue just perfectly like this. So this area is definitely smaller. I like to think about it like this. Acute angle. Oh, it's so cute. And notice it is less than that 90-degree angle. And finally, we have an obtuse angle. And that's any angle more than 90 degrees. Again, let me draw that letter L to remind you of what that 90-degree angle looks like. So anything bigger than that 90-degree angle would be called obtuse. This would be an obtuse angle. If I were to use this bottom ray and I were to create a 90-degree angle, I would go straight up like this. Well, we can see that this angle is much larger than that 90-degree one would be. And we call this obtuse. So let's compare. We have an acute angle, an obtuse angle, and a right angle. Acute angles are less than 90 degrees. Obtuse angles are more than 90 degrees. And right angles are exactly 90 degrees. Make sure that you have this information written down. Go ahead and hit pause if you want to jot these notes down and sketch your angles in your notebooks now. So it's time for your survey quick check. You're going to have a series of questions on the survey attached. The first set of questions will involve you identifying the names of these angles. So make sure that you're looking very closely at the actual angles to name them correctly. The right angles are almost the easiest because you know you can create that perfect square. And finally, let's review congruent. We know congruent are two shapes that are the same size and shape. These two triangles are definitely congruent. They're both the same size and they're also the same shape. These two triangles are not congruent. Even though they are the same shape, they are not the same size. When it comes to congruent, size and shape are important. So, which of these triangles are congruent? Can you spot them? These two are congruent because they are the same size and shape. This brings us to our second set of questions on our survey quick check. What you're going to do is you're going to determine whether the following shapes are congruent. You'll see this image again located on your survey quick check. So let's review. We know what lines, line segments, rays, and points are. We can correctly identify different angles, and we know that congruent shapes are the same size and shape. Make sure that you complete the survey questions that go along with this video. Look at your Math Monday materials for more help with geometry. Have a great day!